Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Jerp pin. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet. You can join my Patreon. I also do have a Cash App because people have asked me about that. Jerp pin, that's how he sent it. Someone else just yesterday asked me about it. So that's actually going to be down below from now on in the info box going forward. If people want a donation or request, whatever the case, feel free. But this is for Marked for Death, the 1990 film. He wanted me to do a commentary on it. So thank you so much, Jerpin. Really appreciate it. Now that I update the thing, it does work. Just like every app, I don't know why everything needs to update like every 5 minutes. Or literally every 5 days or something, but you know, it works, so there you go. But yeah, it could be for any type of topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, video game, let's try, a playthrough, full one, random topic, whatever the case. But Marked for Death is like this. I'm a bit surprised with how much I've talked about Steven Seagal. I haven't gotten more requests for Steven Seagal commentaries. But this is a good one. At least this is a good movie. I'm waiting for the day that someone starts requesting like every one of those bad Steven Seagal movies for a commentary. I would do it. If people send in paid requests, I would do it. But man, it'd be well, it'd probably be funny. It'd be me talking crap about Seagal for 2 hours. Well, 90 minutes. But this is a good one. This is actually one of the better ones. So I'll pause the beginning. Thanks once again, Jerp Pin. I appreciate it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And there's the Fox logo. So apparently the story behind this is Steven Seagal. I love his early work. That's the thing. As much as crap I taught about Seagal, because I think he deserves it, just for being what seems like a vile human being, his horrible work, his work ethic, from just decades, past 2 or so decades. But his movies actually were really good. I love Above the Law. I really enjoyed this film. Out for Justice is my favorite. Yeah, I don't really. It's ridiculous with the way Seagal runs, but But there's a reason why these films were popular, and you can still watch them. They're still really fun to watch. They were trying to give the audience what they wanted. Seagal was a different type of action hero. He had the Clint Eastwood squinty eyes. He had that deep voice. I don't think he was a bad actor in these early movies. I don't people will make fun of me for that, but again, this is me who will make fun of his past 20 years of stuff. Deservedly so. But I think he was actually pretty good in this. He had the intensity. He had the right look. I think he had the right voice for an action hero. He had brutal fighting, breaking bones. And he actually cared. He would yell. He would direct his voice. It didn't feel lazy. He didn't feel lazy in these early movies. He had energy. And that's why for the past 20 years, many of the reasons you could chalk up to, but one of them is he wasn't lazy, complacent, bored. You see the energy in this. And there's Danny Trejo getting put into the trunk. That's pretty much his job in a lot of these movies back in the day, was either getting killed, getting beaten up, put in the trunks like this. And Seagal just had this badass personality back then. The ponytail, the look, how he could yell and be energetic, but he had this deep voice, that was really cool to have. His Since when did anybody accuse me of being sane? Nowadays that'd be a different context. But yeah, it was like a new type of action hero, and he worked for audiences. His films were making money. People forget, his movies were making a lot of money. Compared to Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, if Van Damme's film made 30 million, his would make like 45 million. If his made 27 million, his would make 38 million. Like, Steve Seagal was outshining Van Damme at the box office. Now, I'm a bit of a Van Damme fan. I think the second half, Van Damme hasn't been had the best track record, but has a better. Even Darkness of Man, I wasn't big on Darkness of Man. I'd rather watch that than a lot of Seagal's direct-to-video work. A lot of them. Because I see Van Damme, he's playing a different type of character, but I see a bit of try in him. I really do. Not in Seagal, but anyway. But yeah, at this point, he had done Above the Law, which was successful. Before that, he had done little behind-the-scenes work. I think The Challenge he worked on. One of the James Bond films, I think. And the story is he accidentally broke Sean Connery's wrist or something. I don't know how true that is. That's the story I heard. People saw him able to do all this stuff. Atito, they're like, okay, let's try this guy out. He had some connections. He got a movie, 1988, Warner Brothers, successful. That led to Hard to Kill. Now, apparently Seagal did not like doing Hard to Kill. He wasn't really happy with the film. I like Hard to Kill. I think it's a really good one. And that made a lot of money. And apparently the story is, on Hard to Kill, he wanted Dwight Little. Because Seagal, weirdly enough, he liked Halloween 4. The Return of Michael Myers. And I've also heard that Brandon Lee liked Halloween 4. And then, worked with him on Rapid Fire after this. So it's interesting how many of these guys, I just always assume just us watch these type of horror films, that action stars, would they watch horror films? But, well, let me backtrack. After Hard to Kill had not come out yet. And again, I like both Above the Law and Hard to Kill. Seagal wanted to do Predator 2. He was really adamant to do Predator 2. He got Stephen Hopkins to meet him. And Stephen Hopkins met him and said, this guy ain't the right fit. I don't trust this guy. Stephen Hopkins tells a story about Seagal showed him all these guns and let me shoot these guns for you and all this other stuff, and I want to play a CIA, but he's also a psychologist, but he also knows martial arts, and wanted to change the story of the character to fit him. And Stephen Hopkins said, okay. I think it was the better choice to have Danny Glover. It would have been interesting to have Seagal in the film, but I think at that time, this is Seagal, like right here, this is his mainstay. This is his element. Chopping a wrist off and throwing this guy. Good wide shots, good angles to show Seagal's really in the scene. Some good violent moments. It's just Seagal, I guess you could throw in some gang members that he could do this to, but he's not going to be doing this to the Predator. And do you buy Seagal getting beat up by the Predator like Danny Glover did? No. And I would love to see a what if. I remember this being... There you go. I remember that being a bit surprise. The hooker shooting the guy and then her getting shot. Nice blood squibs. Stuff you probably wouldn't see nowadays. It'd be too on PC or something, but... Good action scene. Again, practical blood squibs, low explosives to showcase gunshots. Nice wide angles so you can see what's going on. Good film quality. It's shot not herky-jerky, not shaky cam. No, it's not buildings blowing up or anything. It didn't need to be. It was effective for an opening. Low Atito, I did a nice bit of gore, cutting that hand off. Even that shot there with the blood red sky. Nice way to open your film. But yeah, Stephen Hopkins, I think I love Predator 2. It's one of my favorite films. I think Danny Glover was the best choice. I do. I can't see anyone else now as Mike Harrigan. I mean, the poster for Mark for Death is here, but behind it is the. It's funny. Danny Glover is watching me watch this. So because Seagal didn't get Predator 2, he still wanted to do a film with Fox, and that led into this movie. Which is interesting how it's another movie by Fox with a Jamaican voodoo Dane. Makes me wonder if there's some kind of connection there where he was going to do a movie that had a Jamaican voodoo Dane. Now here's another movie about Jamaican voodoo Dane. And they're both, 20th Century Fox. It's a bit, and then he wanted to do. It just seems like a big coincidence. Maybe that's just me, though. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, that's one of those things where I don't know the. There's no documentaries on Marked for Death or anything. Now here's Peter Jason as the DEA guy. Peter Jason, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's worked with John Carpenter. He was one of the parents. I think he was the coach in Arachnophobia. Yeah, he was in Prince of Darkness with John Carpenter. He was the bartender in 48 Hours, who Eddie Murphy cusses out. He was in the Mouth of Madness. It's Steve from L.A. Been in quite a few films, Peter Jason. But yeah, after Predator 2 didn't work out, he got this movie. And then during the making of this film, it's like, no, I want Dwight Little. They got Dwight Little. Dwight Little has talked and said, I got the job because of Seagal. And then Hard to Kill came out during the making of this. And because Hard to Kill made so much money, they threw a little bit of extra money into this film, and Seagal had a little bit more power to play with. I don't know if this is true, but there was in some trivia. I read that apparently Steven Seagal would prank call Stephen Hopkins and go, my money made more than you. Because Marked for Death did make more money than Predator 2. I don't know if that's true, but I actually see Seagal doing that. That's why I thought it was a funny story. I'm like, I could see Seagal doing that. Someone needs to ask Stephen Hopkins that. Did Seagal really prank call you and saying Marked for Death did better than Predator 2? Ha ha ha. Now we have the little girl here, Danielle Harris. Danielle Harris. And of course, that little girl was in another Dwight Little film before this called Halloween 4. So as I said, Dwight Little... Darren, I know Danielle Harris said in an interview that, a lot of directors say, hey, whenever something comes up, I'll use you again. They rarely do that, but Dwight Little did. Dwight Little was actually kept to his word, which was nice. He kept his word. But it's weird what happened with Danielle Harris because it seemed like she was kind of rising up where, Halloween 4 and 5 happened. 1990, she was in this. I think there was more to her character, but it was cut out. Because she gets wounded, she gets shot. And then, I won't say she's forgotten, but they kind of don't think about that anymore. I think it's this movie that happens. Yeah, it would be this movie. Yeah, because the Jamaican... gain fire at and she gets wounded and takes her to the hospital, and that's where he's going to go to Jamaica and make him pay. And then Danielle Harris was in The Last Boy Scout after this, playing Bruce Willis's daughter. And then other than a couple stuff, she was in The Daylight in 96. She didn't really do a whole lot. So I don't know if it was like they didn't see her potential or because they were big parts. Although Last Boy Scout was a pretty decent sized part. I don't know. No, I didn't. I don't know if this is true, but apparently the script for this was pretty different. Apparently, I mean, since there's been no documentary on this, been no special edition on really any of Seagal's early films, I can only assume by trivia online. It says John Hatcher was originally called John Stefano, and he and his family were Italians. Instead of being a DEA agent, John was a freelance troubleshooter working for various people on both sides of the law. He also had a wife and a child who were killed while he was on one of his jobs. Screwface's gang were also far more dangerous and vicious. In the strip, during the part where John and his friends attacked Screwface's mansion in Jamaica, they get captured and brutally tortured for hours until they managed to break free and take out the first Screwface twin and his men. The ending fight between John and second Screwface twin was far more brutal. It took place in the warehouse belonging to the Jamaican gang, who were watching the entire fight until right at the moment where Screwface was ready to kill him. John finally kills Screwface by shooting him in the head and in the body. I mean, again, I can only assume. Now, Dwight Little, I think he's a decent director. Like I said, I do like Halloween 4. Even, after this, I liked Rapid Fire. I think that's a really good Brandon Lee film. I also like Murder 1600. I think that's a pretty good Wesley Snipes movie. The great Keith David, such a wonderful asset on this film. See, Seagal actually seems like he cares. He's smiling. He's being playful because it's his friend. Like, wow, he's actually acting like a human being. I didn't get shot, I mean, I was there. But, like, God forbid, you asked him... let's say in Out for Justice, when he's in the car and someone's like, "You want a blowjob or something?" You hear what she say? You hear what she said? What'd she say, man? Like, what happened? I mean, even that acting style is completely different from the Seagal. I would say, starting from like, I don't know. I don't know when that would start, honestly. But it's just a shame. But yeah, Keith David is great. I mean, of course, John Carpenter's The Thing, as Childs, They Live, teaming up with Roddy Piper. He was in Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. Keith David is a great actor. The voice of Spawn in the animated show. Just a great actor, Keith David. Again, just a wonderful asset to have in this kind of movie. Afterwards, we're getting our first taste of the Jamaican gangs. And yeah, Predator 2 made only like $30 million in the U.S. I think about 30 in the U.S. And then this made like $46 million in the U.S. I think worldwide they kind of made the same, 57, 58 million. I think. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, this film made a lot more money in the U.S. than Predator 2. And Predator 2, because it's a sequel to Predator and a bit more hype. And then it did so... I don't know why it flopped so badly. It should not have. It still dumbfounds me that it flopped that hard. But it was because Arnold wasn't in it. And so, Arnold's not in it? Well, I'm not seeing it. And they didn't give Danny Glover a chance and the film a chance. And it's a shame. While they see this up-and-coming action star and they're intrigued by him and they've seen the other two films and, what's this guy got? Okay. He's got a different persona. He's got a different look, different fighting style. But even the director, he's like, well, I also wanted to add other stuff. So he had, shootouts. There'll be car chases. There'll be other stuff. Because if you just have fight, it might get a bit routine. But when they happen, it becomes a nice bonus. Screwface. Great villain. I love the villain of Screwface. Basil Wallace is the guy who played an agent in Rapid Fire afterward. One of the guys talking to Brandon Lee. And he played Eddie Murphy's dad in Eddie Murphy's Raw. Like before the concert, there's the little movie about a young Eddie Murphy doing comedy with his family. The guy who plays the dad is Screwface. Everybody want to go heaven. Nobody want dead. It's interesting that when these scenes happen, the musical score has like almost a horror film element to it. Although if you watch Screwface, he does seem like he belongs in a horror movie. But the score is done by James Newton Howard. If that name sounds familiar, he did The Fugitive, which is a fantastic score. He also did Unbreakable, which is another great score. He did Signs, another good score. He did, I think, the score to Pretty Woman. Now that's the first inclination of the twins. Which is weird, like, because they give it away right here. But I guess, even me, stupidly, I guess, didn't put the connection, like, oh, we just saw another version of him, but then at the end, when it's like, oh my god, there's twins, it seemed that much more surprising. But, maybe that's just me. Yeah, I'm sure the voodoo stuff, they'd probably be labeled racist for whatever reason. I don't know what the way the PC culture is nowadays. They find anything to cancel or be mad about. Damn, this... Give me that money. But yeah, I mean, this was, like, again, another big hit for Seagal. Another big hit. And like, this was Fox, but it's like, oh, even with another studio, he could still make it big. And I'm sure Warner Bros. Like, no, we need to keep this guy. So then you got Out for Justice, and then soon after, Under Siege. Which, when you watch the film, Seagal's not in the film a lot. Because it's like Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey and the people, the command center, talking about what's going on and all this other stuff. And then I'll go back to Seagal. So he's not in it as much as you think. And while I do like Under Siege, maybe that's something that deep down I didn't realize but did bother me. And while I do like Under Siege, it's not my favorite Seagal film. It'd be in my top 5, don't get me wrong, it'd be in my top 5, but I would say I probably like Out for Justice and Above the Law a bit more. Maybe Hard to Kill in this one. I may put above, I'm not sure. Interesting voodoo stuff. We got naked, we got to saw her ass and her titties, and now we got this bit here. Don't mess around, lady. Don't mess around. You're playing with some bad juju. I'm telling you, lady. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Ah, that poor chicken rooster, I should say. It's funny, the roosters have gone quiet right now. Maybe they see what's going on here, and it's like they see the rooster being killed for the voodoo, and it's like they don't want me getting ideas. Because I know they're gone quiet right now. Yeah, I think they saw the roosters dying on screen. Is like, I'll keep quiet for now. Don't give them ideas. Maybe that the scene's over, they'll come back. And then yeah, Seagal. I mean, Under Siege was a big hit, and that was kind of the beginning of the end of Seagal. Honestly, that was the beginning of the end for Seagal. And I got subtitles on. I remember there's not a whole lot of dialogue here, so I'll take this off for a bit. It's just with the Texas heat nowadays. I'll put back on a little bit. But yeah, the Under Siege is kind of the beginning of the end, because afterward, what happens is Steve Seagal's ego went skyrocket. He saw how successful these films were getting, and it's like, wow, I have all the power. I think the next film he did was On Deadly Ground. If you want me to work for you, I did the direct. And he did. He gets to direct. And while that film I like because it has some good action sequences, and those are that part of the film is fun. I like Michael Caine. I like Arlie Ermy. It's interesting to see a very young Billy Bob Thornton. You know, there's stuff I like about, but then the preachy, pedantic, the dream with the rustling the bear, like that stuff is really lousy. Although I could watch and kind of laugh at that, and then an action scene comes up and it's like, oh, this is actually a pretty violent film. He punches a guy and they go through the blades. Right, you see blood, but I think the way it's edited is actually pretty good. I think the action scenes are done really competently. So I think Seagal knew how to manage those. Yeah, it was an ego trip, but I can watch it. I can have fun with On Deadly Ground. But that film didn't do well. Yeah, this bit here is pretty much Seagal saying, listen, I've been through that. Don't worry about it. Just don't get into trouble. I've been through that stuff. Nothing ever turns up great with it. You only cause more pain, more trouble. Yeah, this is when a shootout happens, where the Jamaicans want to shoot these Italian guys. But yeah, that's one of those things where, yeah, here you go. Everybody get the hell down. But even scenes like this, again, like the blood squibs there, the blood popping on the t-shirt, the squibs on the wall, there's no CGI additions. Oh, let's add some CG smoke, or let's add some CG things here to make it more glorious. Which, no, that takes away the effect, because when you see something manufactured, then your mind's going, what else is manufactured? What else is going on? I suppose you're a dead man walking. What else is new? But that's what I mean, like, scenes like that, nowadays, they're just overcomplicated, CGI it, all this other stuff, and I'm like, no, don't, man. There's a reason why films like this still hold up fairly well, and people still watch this stuff. And these films are on Blu-ray, except The Glimmer Man. For some reason, The Glimmer Man's not on Blu-ray, but these other films are on Blu-ray, but there's nothing on them in terms of features. But I think like Warner Brothers, they really got tired of Steven Seagal's hijinks. They liked the money that was being made from them, but they hated his attitude. They're like, oh god, we gotta put up with this asshole. We gotta put up with his demands. We gotta put up with his ego trip. So I think they were almost like giddy and glad when they finally were able to get rid of him. I would say after Exit Wounds, maybe? While that did make money for them. But I guess with Half Past Dead not doing that well, and then him going to direct-to-video market, it's like, he's direct-to-video, he's done. Oh, Kevin Dunn. So this guy here with the tie on the left here is Kevin Dunn. He was the Shia's dad in the Transformer films, Mr. Witwitty. So he was the dad in the Transformer films. He was one of the head military guys in Godzilla 1998. He was a dad in Small Soldiers. If it was in the blood, I would get transfusion. Now this guy here, who, well, he left, but this guy here with the hat, that's Tom Wright. Now, again, I don't know if this is true, but I read that probably Tom Wright, who's on the left here, with the Jamaican accent, apparently Seagal, he had a bit more pull of who could be cast. He wanted a guy who was really Jamaican, and people who weren't, they were kind of turned away. So Tom Wright, he had this Jamaican accent and kept it the whole time, even behind the scenes. He kept it in between takes. So the final day, or like they shot, and Tom Wright's changed the Jamaican accent. So, hey, how's it going, man? How's you doing? And yeah, I don't know if this is true, but Tom Wright, the way he put it was Seagal looked at him, walked away, and never saw Seagal again. Which I just see that. I just see Seagal being like, he hated that he was tricked. That's his ego. He hated that he was tricked. He hated that he was bamboozled. And he would have been pissed about that. So I could absolutely see that. But Tom Wright, he was the hitchhiker in Creepshow 2. You know, thanks for the ride, lady. He was in Weekend at Bernie's 2. He was the guy with Steve James where they're trying to get Bernie's body. He's also dealt with voodoo. Tom Wright was one of Dolph Lundgren's men in Men of War, which I love that film. I like that film quite a bit, actually. So he's a good actor. And I forgot what I was about to say. I'm sure some of these other actors I've seen in other stuff, but I can't pinpoint them. Let me see if I do this. Some of these other actors, if I can. Just thinking. So I just looked in to see if any of these guys kind of pop up and go, oh, it's that guy. Probably not. I would have to look a bit deeper. But anyway. I will admit sometimes it's hard for me to understand what Screwface is saying. If a man commit a crime against you, must be paid back 1,000 times. You feel him or me? I'll say that, I mean, Basil Wallace is absolutely 100% intense as Screwface. Don't steer from the path I have prepared. Like I said, I like this horror film vibe with the score. I think that's a nice touch. Because this guy, I mean, he's scary as Screwface, man. He's a guy you don't want to mess with. Just that intensity. They don't have villains like this anymore, man. That's sad. Like, what was it, the last new, like, was it Darkness on Man? I saw Van Damme. Even Deadpool Wolverine I saw. You know, these action films. They don't have villains like this anymore. Like William Forsythe in Alfred Justice, or Henry Silva Above the Law, or Screwface, Basil Wall, or Tommy Lee Jones Under Siege. John Lithgow in Cliffhanger, Charles Dance in Last Action Hero, Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man, like that type of villain. Keith David is such a great actor. Trouble's tapping us on the shoulder right now, and you won't look behind. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There's going to be a car chase with this big ass Dodge Ram, and I think they're like going through the mall and stuff. That's a pretty fun scene. I think the MPAA. Oh, this is where they get shot at. Yeah, Daniel Harris gets wounded. I think this is the case. Yeah, there's the scene. And Daniel Harris gets wounded. Yeah, then Chief David comes back and they get in the car. They follow them. I think. It's been a while since I've seen this. I'm trying to remember the exact. Part going to the hospital first. Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's later that they do it. And they do Earl Bowen, I believe his name, that doctor. He was the psychiatrist in The Terminator, and you saw him in Terminator 2 as well. Had a brief cameo in Terminator 3. So, cool to see him in another movie. But yeah, Earl Bowen, I believe his name. But yeah, if you're like, I've seen that guy before. It's the Terminator in Terminator 2. You've seen him in. Trying to talk down Kyle Reese in the first one, Sarah Connor in the second film. Now, for I understand, there was more stuff to the Daniel Harris and the hospital stuff, but it was cut out. It's not his fault, lady. What the hell? It's not his fault. I guess that she kind of realized that. That's why she let him hug her for a little bit. He was invited to a club. Some guy, bad guy, there you go. But there you go. Trouble's tapping you on the shoulder. Now it's time to get some ass. Like I said, apparently there was more to this whole bit with Daniel Harris, but that was all cut out. I'm trying to remember if we see closure to this, like her getting better. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, it's hard to remember every detail. Like I said, I will make fun of Seagal for the past 20 years. I think Seagal did a great job in these early films. I do. I sincerely do feel that way. I was a fan of the guy. I love these older films. I love this scene coming up. One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly. Well, they were both wrong. Don't beat the hell out of this guy. That's what I liked, his attitude in these. This no nonsense badass attitude. If you don't, go fuck you up. Or like Hard to Kill. This is for my life. This is for my wife. Fuck you and die. Stabs the guy. I don't know why. I always like the line that other guy says. I would you sell you the sweat off my balls. Don't do it. Ooh, nice headshot. I think that was cut down a bit for MPA. Ooh. No one knows what screw face is. Oh yeah, and the guy jumps out the window because he's more afraid of Screwface. As we get that great line where he tells T. David, one thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly. They were both wrong. Good stunt here, man. Look at that. Great stunt. Even with the body, even the one that cut and landed the body on the car. Doing great stunt work there. Here it is. I sincerely love this stuff, man. Like, I'm watching this, I feel like a kid again when I was watching these movies. I said I love like Out for Justice. Who did Bobby Lupo? Anyone know why Richie did Bobby Lupo? Don't be a bad guy. Be a good guy. Hey, you fuck nuts. Ah, man. I know nowadays, the reason I keep harping on that, not even harping, but people who find my channel, they'll see a lot of ranting on Steven Seagal. I think richly deserved, because, again, just how he's treated people throughout the years. So many directors have horror stories on Seagal, beating up stuntmen, and just treating them so horribly, hurting them on purpose at times. You tell this guy just is so scared he doesn't want to tell this guy. He did? The white boy Hacha? Okay. He's like calm. You tell these guys like, oh shit. He just beat up his other man. I want Hacha dead. I want his family dead. Well, I actually remember that. That's weird. I don't remember a whole lot because my memory is not as good as it used to be, but why kill you? I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing like, yes, that's what bad guys are supposed to be. That's what bad guys were in the 80s and 90s, man. We don't fucking have that nowadays. I don't know why. It's cheesy, it's corny. These films are more worth a crap than a lot of your films today, buddy. Sorry. Give me a break. Damn voodoo stuff. And it's interesting, this one shot is kind of shot like a documentary. See, the camera is kind of going like this. I wonder if it's one of those, like, maybe they didn't have much time to shoot this scene. So it's like, okay, do it more handheld and maybe that'd be a bit faster. Because not many shots are like that where it's handheld. That's one of the few so far. That's like the only one I've seen so far. So again, I wonder if was it a choice? Or was it we don't have a lot of time and then, okay, do it handheld and maybe be a bit faster. Now we have this character who's like I forgot what. Yeah. So this character's pretty much here for exposition. There's not a whole lot to her character other than that. I'm trying to remember her name. Joanna Pacula as Professor. Earned a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress for Gorky Park. This girl, Joanna Pacula, she was in Death Before Dishonor, which, if people don't know what, that was the film that they tried to make Fred Dryer a movie star, who was on the TV show Hunter. What else was Joanna Pacula in? Warlock, the Armageddon, which was the second Warlock film. Was that the one with Zach Galligan in it? No. No, it wasn't. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, he was in it. He has a supporting role. So he was in it, just not one of the stars. She was also in Tombstone as Kate Elder, Joanna Pacula. So now the sister's being, I think it's supposed to be his sister's being attacked by our characters here. I know I've seen this guy in other movies. I cannot remember though what those movies were. But I know I've seen him in other stuff. Now, Grant, I don't know why they would send just one guy to do this. Oh, well, to be fair, it's not. There you go. I only saw one guy at first, but yeah, here's a couple guys. So her name is... I'm trying to think. So now here we have the suspense scene of is he going to make it in time to save her or not. Yeah, sorry, I'm not saying much. Obviously, I've seen the film, so I know she doesn't get killed. Which is fine, you know, like, she didn't need to die in the film. Just the possibility was good enough. What did he write? What was a smiley face? It looked like a smiley face. Thank God they took their time to do this. Now you think, like, okay, stab her, move on. Which I don't know really why they didn't do that. Why didn't they just kill her? Like, just put a knife in her chest and then go on their merry way. It's like, well, they're... Again, sometimes you always wonder with bad guys, like, okay, the good guy's coming, fuck it, I'll just stab her in the chest, stab her in the eye, whatever, leave, and go from there. But it's a movie. That's why. It's a movie. Now we're here, we're going to get into the car chase. And the Dodge Ram. They're going to be fun, seriously. I don't know why he wouldn't have had his sister in protective place anyway. Because he knows that's where they lived. He knows, like, his... Daniel Harris has already been shot, so I don't know why... He saw the marking on the rug. Immediately should have been like, okay, we don't move you into another place. Why he allowed his sister to stay at that place after seeing that mark, the same place I had a drive-by, that's confusing to me. I just to have that scene where she almost gets killed, but it's like, you think as a DEA agent he would know better? Like, this mark is not going to be like cookies, you know. Here's some Girl Scout cookies. We'll come back to deliver them. This is just our retainer. We'll come back for this to clean this up. Yeah, how blow? Put your hands up, I'll blow your head off. But yeah, it is interesting that Seagal and then Brendan Lee later, they mentioned being fans of Halloween 4. Makes you wonder how many other of these big action stars or whatever you're secretly a big fans of horror films, slasher films, and etc. Ooh, some nice car stunts here. Good wide shots to show the open plane of the environment. It's not just up close and awkwardly cut. You give the full scope that they're in an actual city. There's all these cars in the way. If you screw up one way, you should pinball around. back and forth shotgun. Nice strips he put on the windshield. Very nicely done car chase. And then on the sidewalk there, in a very public setting. They say it was Chicago it takes place in, I believe it said, so. They don't do a lot of this stuff. Like, and they don't film it like this. Again, it's done either very shaky, very cut, or there's a lot of CGI put into it, CG additions. Well, this is CG and that's CG, and maybe a good chunk of it is real, but this little bit is CG and this little thing. It's like, no. Or there's a fire and explosion, that's CG, but the rest, it's like, no, don't do any of it. Do it all in camera. It's going to hold up a lot better for your future. Yeah, you hope to have a good opening and good, but that future is what's going to really help rake in your revenue. Because how many of these films survived on VHS sales and DVD sales and Blu-ray sales, and now streaming? Who watches? Who re-watches? Maybe people's like, hey, there's a special edition, they rebuy it. There we go, right into the store. I said mall, I don't know why I said mall, but yeah, in the store here. I don't know why I said mall. I was thinking of like Chuck Norris fighting the mall in Invasion USA. I knew it was a store. Yeah, here it is. I think one thing they cut out for the MPAA is if you watch the trailers, the bit where he does like a neck chop. I guess the MPA thought that was too much because you don't see it in the scene. But if you watch the trailer, he does that. Like, so I'm sitting there going, really? Like the gunshots are fine, but you have a problem with that? But the MPAA was so weird not in this time period. Like hard target, yeah, cut this and this and this. I'm like, no, if you watch that today, uncut, like the work print, it would easily get an R rating without a flinch of an eye. But here we did a bit of the Aikido. Nope, no you don't. Boop. Use the momentum against them. Don't flip you over. Don't push you into that wall there. Ooh, right in the face. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oop, grab the guy and give me your knife. You don't need that knife anymore. There you go. Goodbye. You don't need that knife. Here. You want your knife back? There's your knife back. They can't get out. I was like, what are we doing running for? Like, come on, guys. Come on, badasses. Ooh, right in the head. Just break his arm. Yep. Oop, his wrist. There you go. There goes his arm. Don't do it. Ooh, punch and through glass double one. And number two. And one for good measure. There you go. Ooh. Fuck with my family, you die. Kick him right in the face. Yeah, I forget like if it was that guy he kicked in the face and he did like this. Actually, I mean, I have the movie playing, but let me look up the trailer real quick. It's in the trailer. I recognize the clothes. Let me see. Obviously, you can't see it, but if you watch the trailer, about 46 seconds in, I think it was the guy. It looked like the guy that. It might have been the guy Chief David hit with the shotgun. Might have been that guy. And then Seagal does like this. Seemed like, you know, with that outfit. There's the one guy he stabs with a knife. The one guy he kicks. Yeah, I think it's that guy that Chief David hit with the shotgun. The butt of the shotgun. I think it was him. I could be wrong on that. Maybe. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. I know, it's like, okay, get on with the movie. But like I said, if you watch the trailer, it's in the trailer, but it's not in the movie here. Which I mean, I hate that the MPA does stuff like that. I mean, was that really something that much to get bent out of shape to want to get cut out? Like, come on now, man. Seriously. It really wasn't. So now he's trapped here. They're trying to kill him. Granted, it seems like a pretty, like Batman. I don't know. Like, I don't know, it just seems like more convoluted way. So instead of shooting him, it's like, let's give him a Molotov cocktail. I'm like, if they just shot him with guns, the movie would be over. But it's like, you know, James Bond or whatever else. We have the right possibility to kill him, but we gotta find a way to give him time to escape. Again, you just shoot him. If Screwface has the shotgun, it's like, welcome to the spirit world, you know. It'd be done, but no, we gotta put a Molotov cocktail, not even on his face, just in the back seat. To give him enough time to squeeze through and get the hell out of there. But yeah, bad guys make those mistakes a lot for some reason, because it's a movie. But it's just one of those things that's always funny when they do that in films. Like, they could kill the bad guy, and there's a lot of easy ways to do it, but they don't. Oh well. Shit happens. Gearing up the weapons. Just this will be our trip to Jamaica. Isn't Tom Wright about to be get involved with this too? I think, yeah, right here with the van. Yeah, I believe that's Tom Wright. Okay, here we go. Like I said, just I'll repeat this to Kingdom Come. It's a shame that Seagal, just his ego, him not wanting to be a better person, him not wanting to be a bit humble, him not wanting to learn things, him getting lazier, fatter, which I know that's mean to say, but if you're trying to be an action hero, unless you're someone, I'm repeating that because there are exceptions. Unless you're someone like Sammo Hung, who knows how to handle that very well. If you're going to be an action hero, unless it's part of the plot where, okay, it's a guy who's like a nerd, or he's trying to do the best he can, and it's the ups and downs, and that's how difficult it is. Okay, it makes sense. If it's not, and you're trying to be the badass, it best to be in shape to have it's like the full package. Just saying. Now, there are big guys like that could be a badass. I mean, even I can't believe I forgot his name in Bloodsport. Van Damme's buddy, who was in Revenge of the Nerds. Big guy, but I bought him as a tough guy. He was fun. Jackson. But this type of guy, it's just a bit more easy to see when you're a bit more in shape. Like Van Damme has kept himself in shape as best as he could. So it's just better for the whole package. And again, even though Van Damme, I have not liked a lot of his direct-to-video stuff, I still see a bit of him trying. I do. Darkness of Man, I actually thought, aside from the awful narration, I think Van Damme did a good job. It's just the script, the director, just don't have the right people around him, in my opinion. But I don't think Van Damme, I didn't see that film and go, oh, Van Damme's lazy. I didn't see that. Again, I wasn't big on the film, but it has this. I wasn't a fan of it. It had a lot of issues. I reviewed that film anyway. But I just still watch that over Seagal. Like I said, it's just so lazy. At times, it's not even his voice, or just he's sitting in a chair and doing a fight scene in a chair. The sniper movie, Reloaded, whatever, the special ops, whatever they was called, that sniper movie where most of the time he's in a chair. It's just ridiculous. But you see this, and you see a bit of energy to his acting, when it needs to, of course. And there are times where he needs to be serious and let his face do it, and he works well for that too. And that's what I mean. It's just sad. And all the stories you hear about Seagal and how horrible he treats people, and continues. A lot of people have taken a step back, eaten humble pie. Not Seagal. He just ran away to Russia and is living there right now, probably for the rest of his life. And there you go. Just how it is. So now they're in Jamaica. And I don't think we ever see Seagal's family again. Because this is 26 minutes. Usually about 4 minutes for credits, so about 24 minutes. You don't have the battle, the first screw face, and then you don't have the surprise, the second screw face in that fight. And then there's going to be the lead up to finding where they're at. But yeah, you never see Danielle Harris again. That's what I mean. I think there was more footage of her. Does she get better in the hospital? Is she fine? There might have been a line of dialogue and I missed it, and if so, I apologize, but it's what about Danielle Harris? Is she don't get better? Is she out of the hospital? That should be a scene to see, her doing better, and that was probably shot. I would bet money that was shot, but it's well, we won't take you out because of the pacing. But come on, 1 minute or less of that would not affect the pacing. Just give a teeny bit of closure to that bit that you brought up, an important bit of business you brought up within the movie. That's just me, though, so. But idea, it's like Out for Justice has deleted scenes. A lot of these movies, I'm sure, have deleted scenes, and honestly, I'd love to hear the making of. But these Blu-rays, I mean, they don't even have commentaries. They have nothing on them. Absolutely nothing. Maybe trailers for other Seagal films. This one, because it's Fox, has a trailer. I'm not even sure if I know the DVD did. I think that's Jimmy Cliff. Of course, singer extraordinaire. I think Jimmy Cliff, he was the guy in Club Paradise with Robin Williams, I believe. Sorry if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the same Jimmy Cliff. Yeah, that woman definitely sticks out in a good way. Damn. Definitely shows all the curves. You need to shave before you go out of the house in that outfit. I don't mean your legs. The one in between. But man, beautiful lady. I don't blame Seagal. I'd hit it. Beautiful lady. Damn. Screwface. Put the bin, you know. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. Just sort of the Seagal talked to this girl to try to get a bit of a foot in the door to find where Screwface is at. Among other stuff. Kind of seems like a nice place, although there's no privacy. Plenty of girls though. Yeah, one on the couch, one on the couch there. Makes me wonder what's the twin doing. What is the twin doing during all this? Is the twin just camping out in the basement somewhere? Do they take turns? Like, okay, today you're up top and I'll be in the basement, but tomorrow I get to be on top and you're in the basement. Do they switch every day or every other day? Like, and then the other guy, he lives in the basement with like mini fridge or something. I don't know. See, that's the thing. Did we really need? I mean, it's a beautiful looking girl, but did we need Seagal talking to the girl in the bar to find where this place is at? It seemed like Tom Wright and Keith David, they would find the place fine and dandy. Well, that wasn't why he was there, Matt. Well, then it was more of a useless scene, and you know what would have been a more important scene? To see if Daniel Harris doing well in the hospital and giving that bit of closure. That seems like a more important scene to have for your movie than her talking about cryptid stuff about Screwface and voodoo magic or whatever the hell. That really didn't do anything. He wasn't given anything. No magic stones or anything. It didn't need it. And I mean, I'll have this off for a bit. This is mainly just the action bits. I got the subtitles on. But they're with binoculars looking at the hideout of Screwface. Got the silenced rifle here. take these guys out. Target number 1. And number 2 with a bullet. Boom. I'm sure people who are much more familiar with these weapons, they could talk about how right or how wrong the sound effects are on these weapons. But I've never fired these guns, I never touched any of these guns, so I wouldn't know anything about it. Damn, look at that gun he's got now. It's like a bulldog or something. I'm not good with guns, what they're called. Does T. David have like an M60 or something? I think he does, like a Rambo M60 guy, I believe. Sorry if I'm wrong about that. I didn't notice that. I'm trying to think, does Seagal still use that rifle? Because he used it in the training bit where he shot through the meat. And then, I would assume he does use that during this, right? But I remember him not using it a lot, and he used this other gun instead. If that's the case, then what was the point of him, showing how fast his gun can go and this to this beat if he doesn't use it in this finale? Got a bit of night vision after that explosion. Yep, there's a bit of your Chief David cleaning out house. Yep, bit of night vision here. Granted, it does seem like there's still a bit of light to see him, and you see people walking right past him. I'm like, I get it because if you have it completely dark, then we can't see anything. But again, there's enough light there that you could see Seagal was there. So like people like this far away from him, as far as the camera is, like we could see him, the audience. So why can't they see him? Oh, does Seagal not shoot a lot of people? If so, I forgot about that. Does I now remember he does get captured, and he uses more Atito stuff, but so that would even be more pointless, like to show this machine gun, look what to do to this pile of meat, but he doesn't showcase it during the battle. Now it's coming back to me. Like I remember, if that's the case, I remember being disappointed with that. Like he has these guns, but never gets to use them. I don't know about never. Maybe he does a little bit here. Maybe. Like I said, I do remember now he does get captured. And then he's got to like try to do it all with Atito. And then fights Screwface. Well, the first Screwface. Oh, you stole my pictures, you bastards. He's been marked for death. Yeah, they take his gun here. So yeah, it's like all that training with all those guns and he never uses any of them. That seems like a bit of a blue ball to the audience. Just seemed like a waste of This is what these guns. I mean, he snipes the two people, but he didn't need to show. Where I don't know. Just seems like a weird waste. That's just me though. Just yeah, here he's going to show his Artido. A bit more of that. Yeah, maybe that's why I was a bit disappointed with some parts of the ending here, the finale. But then again, like the way he tells the two screw faces, that made up for it. Yeah, he's like, like, get down my way. Ooh, right there. Get your ass down. Get the fuck out of my way. Boop. Yeah, put your ass down. Give me your hand. Here, you want your buddy's hand? Yeah, take your ass down. Break your neck. You're done for now. Don't do it. Give me that. Ooh, break that arm. Get your ass down too. Oh yeah, he like grabs a sword and like decapitates the guy. Yeah. Doesn't he like hit him in the nuts with it? I think this. Yeah. Yep, right in the nuts. And recap the decap. I remember that going, wow, that was pretty quick. It was probably why they had the two screw face people, because it's like, well, that's a bit quick, but the reveal that it's another one and like, oh shit, and all that stuff, then that's where it becomes a bit surprising to people. So they're back here. Yeah, it felt like that battle at the end was cut down a bit. Maybe that's just me. That's one of the few, when I say flaws for me personally. That battle at the end, felt could have been a lot more intricate, a lot more. Like, okay, D. David killed a couple people. Tom Wright didn't really get to do much of anything during that whole battle. I wonder if Seagal was still, maybe Seagal was still pissed that he had a bit more power in the editing room and said, because what did Tom Wright really do at the end there? He didn't really do much of anything. I didn't see him do much of anything. Or it went by so quick I missed it and didn't register. Seagal didn't get to shoot anybody, so all those gun training he had with all those different guns, that was all for naught, because he didn't use any of those guns except the sniper. But so I remember again with the way the trailer was, being disappointed with that. I like the gore that he decaps someone, and then hear the reveal of there's another one. And then the second fight is there's a bit more to it, and how brutal that is. Break his back, throw him down the elevator shaft, and then the line, "I hope they weren't triplets." You get the fuck out, you die. Yeah, this is where Tom Wright's going to get it. Stabbed in the back. So yeah, I wish, these guys had a bit more to do in Jamaica. I think that was a missed opportunity. I think there's a lot more action that could have been done with that whole setup. That'd be one thing to ask Dwight Little. Like how come there wasn't more to that? Like how come this stuff was set up and never paid off? Then was there stuff that was cut out? Or that was meant to be a red herring? Or what's the deal? Like how come Seagal is shown with all these guns and training but he never uses any of them? How come Tom Wright had nothing to do in the Jamaica portion? And was there more to that battle that we didn't get to see? And like there's that whole room with the night vision and nobody was shot and nothing. Like they just escaped out of there. All those guys just said, "Oh, you know what? You killed the bad guy. Oh well, shit happens." So yeah, that I remember bothering me a bit. Maybe that's one of the few things that I don't like about the film. But I do like this bit here. I remember with these bad guys coming up. I remember, yeah, this scene I remember loving. I do love this bit. Because he really is able to go to town on these guys, like violent wise. He's got all the tools there. So he punches that guy. Nope, you punch your buddy. Boom! Sledgehammer to the head. And right across the face. Oh yeah, he skewered this guy in the neck. There we go, right in the neck. That was cool to see. So yeah, that little bit of action there. Ooh, breaking the leg there. So like these little Tito added bonuses are nice to see. And that was the cool thing about Seagal's movies is that they felt more violent than the other martial arts guys. Because like breaking the arm, breaking the leg. Tommy Lee Jones, he gouges the eyeball, then stabs in the head. Was it John C. McGinley? And on deadly ground, punches him. He falls into the blades of the plane. Henry Silver breaks his arm. He's screaming in pain, and then William Forsythe like stabs him in the head, and after beating the hell out of him, his face is all bloody. Here, he detapped one, and the way he kills it, it's not just to shoot him, just break him in half and throw him down the thing. That's what I mean. Like that was kind of the cool factor of Seagal felt, just how fucking brutal he could be. Like hard to kill, fuck you and die, stabs a guy with a pool cue. I know he, in the original ending of Hard to Kill, he killed William Sadler, the senator's character. Because in the trailer, if you watch the trailer for Hard to Kill, the final bit of the trailer is, take that to the bank. And you see his face illuminated with like fire. I think he killed William Sadler and like his head was in the fireplace or something. And then that's where he said, take that to the bank. But they cut that out. I don't know why. See, here it's a bit more of a fight. A bit more of a battle, so they saved it for here. That's why the first one was so quick. Granted, it's a goal. Very, very rarely does he want to get beaten up. I think Fox, again, I read this. They're like, no, he's got to get beat up a little bit, so. But I don't think he doesn't get beaten up too much, I don't think. I'm trying to remember. Ooh, there you go. Right across the face. Yeah, there we go. Bounce him back a little bit. Below that gouges his eyes. That's part one. It was pretty gory. Going through the wall. They don't break his back. Coming up here. Like, look, break him in half. That's two. Then throw him down the elevator shaft. And impaled. And that's three. Coming up. Boom. And of course the line. I hope they weren't triplets. That's what I'm talking about with like how gory it is and stuff. And yeah, this is how it ends. You don't see Daniel Harris. You don't see any of that. I mean, granted, maybe they thought this is the way to end it. But before that, like, they could have shown some stuff. That Daniel Harris is doing okay, but... But hey, it's hour and 29 minutes, just under 90 minutes. The movie's over, and they figure, we don't need that stuff. I think that would have been nice. Yeah, Kevin Dunn, Peter Jason, Danny Trejo, among other people in the cast. Earl Bowen, who's in Terminator 1 and 2, like I mentioned. Yeah, as the credits play out, I still enjoy the film. If I rated Seagal films, I would say I liked Out for Justice. I'll put this, like, my top 5 favorite Seagal films. Oh, Jeff Amata. Jeff Amata worked with John Carpenter on Big Trouble in Little China, among other stuff. So, cool. Jeff Amata was a part of this. I would say my favorite's Out for Justice. Then I would go Above the Law. I honestly would say Hard to Kill. Then Under Siege. Or Under Siege and Hard to Kill. It goes back and forth. Then maybe this one, or I like The Glimmer Man. I actually do like The Glimmer Man. May be in my top 5. I actually think that film's a bit underrated. I do like The Glimmer Man, so that's in my top. I would say The Glimmer Man. I do like this film. It's a very good one. Like I said, that battle in Jamaica, it just, I forgot how kind of tame it was, where it was like a big build-up. We don't go in this fortress, and not much happened. There's an explosion. Chief David kills like 2 people. Before that, Seagal snipes 2 people. Then like all this chaos, but you don't really see much of anything happen. Like, let me go back. Did Tom Wright really do anything during this battle? Let me go back. What did Tom Wright do during this? Chief David kills a few people. Okay, so Tom Wright does kill a couple outside. So he kills about a couple people there while they're in the bushes. Yeah, Chief David has about 2 people. But again, it felt like it was so inconsequential that completely missed it. So yeah, they're outside the perimeter killing a couple people. And like each one of them kills like 2 or so. But again, it's just like, whatever. Yeah. It just didn't seem like much, so. Yeah, that's my only nitpick. I wish that scene was there was a bit more to it. I wish Daniel Harris, I wish that story point had a closure to it. The one girl who was like the exposition lady, Joanna, she seemed really like you could easily cut her out. She was only there to explain what the road is. You've been marked for death. But I mean, you could have had the info from anybody of the other characters. Tom Wright. Like, Tom Wright could have told the same exposition. Like, you didn't need Joanna, that character. So I wonder if there was more to that and it was cut out. Like, more to her character. But other than a little nitpick, again, there's a lot of good lines of dialogue, some really good graphic, gory, well, not violent, I would say, put a violent deaths for the bad guys. Nice Akito moments. Yeah, car chases. Yeah, some gun battles. Nice squibs. Pretty well paced. 90 minutes. Wasn't boring. It's well competently shot by Dwight Little. It's a fun movie. I still quite liked the film. It's a fun one. So thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.